It is so good to be with all of you. I have had a few moments to be able to join you virtually, but Wednesday nights is my choir I sing with night, so I'm not able to be with you regularly. So this is just a treat to be here and to share with you a bit about my journey. People don't often think about ministry and improv being together, but that has been my life. When I first started feeling the call to ministry, I had been doing theater for many years, and I got to this point where I said, okay, if I'm going to do this ministry thing, that I can't let go of the theater thing. So if you can find a way to allow me to do both, then I'm going to go and be a minister. I did that. I submitted information to get from different seminaries, and I got the admissions packet from Andover Newton Theological School. And in the folder on the right-hand side was a brochure on their artists in residence in theater. And I was like, okay, you win. I'm going to apply. I'm going to do this thing. The very next month, I was in a play and here in Boston, and the play, the theater's no longer here right now, but it was in the South End. And after rehearsal, the owner of the theater who was in the play said, my playback theater is having rehearsal. Come join us. Come play with us. And my boss had told me about playback theater and said that I would like it. So I decided, hey, I'll try this thing. And I fell completely in love. Playback theater is a form of improv where we invite the audience to share their stories, and then we offer the core of that story back using movement and sounds and just the essence of the story. And after doing that for a while, I was like, this is ministry. This is ministry that we're doing. And so I began these two paths of improv and ministry almost from the very beginning. And so during my studies, I would find ways where, let me sneak in a little theater or playback in here. And I had a small little group in school going, particularly when my playback group disbanded. And so we did a few things, and it became a part of my life. And one of the things that someone said to me in rehearsals that has stuck with me is to trust that you have within you to respond to the situation. And that has really, of all the things about playback, that has stuck with me. It's like, oh yeah, I have it within me. I don't have to worry about, am I good enough? Am I going to hear the story right? Am I going to respond the right way? I have it within me to respond in the way that someone needs. After seminary, a friend of mine we were having a conversation, and she just happened to mention that she was starting this organization based on the work she was doing with her mother, who had Alzheimer's, on using improv to be able to engage with her mother and help caregivers learn how to engage with people with Alzheimer's. And I said, sign me up. How do I help you with this? And so together with a few other people, we started Healing Moments, which is a program for caregivers with people with Alzheimer's. And that inspired me to, I need to learn a little bit more about improv. I've got the playback period down, but we're doing some different things. And so I took classes at Improv Boston. And that also took me into the space of, oh, I understand improv is not about, doesn't have to be about comedy. Improv is about telling a story and being completely in the moment with whoever you are and engaging. And so I pulled on to that and held on. I was like, okay, that's ministry too, being present in the moment and sharing the story. As I continued on. I ended up at Meadville Lombard Theological School on the faculty there, which is one of our Unitarian Universalist seminaries. And I had the opportunity to teach a class. And I taught a class called Ministry as Improv. And this class, we did, it was a week-long intensive. We did improv for the first few days. We did extemporaneous preaching. We talked about pastoral care and social justice work. It's probably the most, I enjoyed that class the most of anything that I taught. And one of the first things that we did was we played a game called I Failed. And what we do, and I invite you to actually join me with this, is that you say, I failed with as much enthusiasm as you can. So join with me, I failed. Can you make that even just a little bit bigger? I failed. Yes. Because if we're not willing to risk failing, we're not going to risk making change. We're not going to risk what can be next. And so if we're able to embrace failure, then, we can do anything. Everything is possible. And this has moved me into this space of now I'm doing my Doctor of Ministry and my focus is on improv as a theological framework for collective liberation. That's my working kind of talk. And part of what's come as I've been doing my studies over the past year was this idea of the sacred yes and. Now in improv, we talk about yes and as when a person initiates, what they're doing is giving an offer. And so they make a statement, and then you say yes, and you accept whatever that they are engaging as what it is, what is real. Now, there's a difference between accepting and agreeing. And sometimes we can confuse the two of them together, but acceptance is saying, this is your reality. And I accept that this is the reality we're working with. And then you can kind of play with whether you agree with what's going on in that reality or not. But we don't just accept, we add something to it. It's collaboration. We are working together. So we add a piece, and that's the and the piece. And so the sacred yes and for me is that moment when we're in that interaction place, and when someone has offered something, and before you've responded, that is a holy moment. Because all the possibilities are there. We have no idea what's going to be next. And I think of, for me, the divine, the holy God as being in that moment of possibility that you can actually create whatever. And this is a moment where we can co-create with God what is next, to create the beloved community, to create change for justice and peace, to center in love. We can make those choices in that moment. And so to me, it's such a holy place to be in that yes and space. And so I want to invite you to think about your moments with others and think about what would it be like if when you interacted with someone, you thought of that as a holy moment. What choices might that invite you to take? What opportunities might that offer you to give? And how might that lead you to be part of the world you want to be in? I find that as an exciting way for me to live my life, to kind of say, oh, this is a holy moment. What choice am I making? And also trusting that I have within me to make the choice that is going to be right for the moment. And I don't have to overthink it. I'm good at overthinking. I don't have to overthink it. And I could try something different and risk failure, and that's going to be okay because we are working together. And the other piece that I realized that I was going to mention earlier that I didn't was just the rule in Improv Boston that I never hear people talk about is make your scene partner look good. So we're not in this for ourselves. We are in this to bring out the best in each other. So if we're bringing that aspect of we are bringing the best out of each other and we're going to create this world filled with love and justice and peace, oh, there's nothing that we couldn't do if we just imagine it. Our pure imagination can allow us to bring that into reality. I invite you to join in that with me and see what we might improv together, what world we might create. Blessed be. As we go forth from this time together, may we draw upon an improv spirit, starting from a place of yes, contributing what we can, bringing out the best of everyone we meet, and failing forward into growth and learning. Blessed be. Amen.